Hey, it's April from the Possible Diet, and today I'm going to show you how to make vegan bruschetta. There was a summer, not too long ago, where I was obsessed with bruschetta. And I think it actually contributed to a significant weight gain because I was eating it like almost every day. I got obsessed with like slicing the bread and then sauteing it in olive oil, like not just drizzling a little olive oil on top of it, but like frying the bread. And then I went to a party and this girl brought vegan bruschetta and it was so delicious, and it used sweet potatoes, which have a very low glycemic index. So even though they have carbs, it's like way less carbs than bread, and they're sweet. When you toast them into slices in your oven, whether you're using a regular oven or a toaster oven, you can make this for a party like she did. They're really great, and they pack a nutrition wallop, so they're awesome. The other change is that she used avocado instead of chopped up mozzarella for the topping on the bruschetta, and I thought that was really great. I add red onion, and then I put some green onion on the top, and that's how this is slightly different, but still fresh basil, fresh tomatoes. I also use a fig balsamic instead of balsamic glaze. A lot of bruschetta has balsamic glaze in it, which has sugar. So if you use a fig balsamic, you get that same kind of sweetness for a lower carb count with no added sugar. So, and then you're also gonna need fresh olive oil. I use my misto sprayer for the sweet potato slices. If you don't have a misto, I highly recommend it. It makes it super easy, especially when you're baking things, to get a thin coating of olive oil without having to like toss something in the olive oil and then you kind of waste olive oil because inevitably not all of it gets used, or it's not even. So the first thing we're gonna do is cut your sweet potato. I leave the skin on. These are just scrubbed into slices about that thick. So maybe just slightly thinner than you would have for a crouton. And then once we have these all sliced, we're going to lay them on this tray. And these are gonna be our bread for our bruschetta. And this, it kind of serves one or two, depends on how you want it. If you have leftovers, feel free to keep them separated. You can use the sweet potato as a base layer for other things that you want to make. Try to make a chipotle kind of bruschetta if you feel like it. So I'm going to make these in 2 batches. Basically, you're going to lay them on your tray like this. If you're making them in a regular size oven, it's kind of hot today, so I'm using my toaster oven because it reduces the heat in my kitchen. Just give them a spray on the top. Olive oil. It's a little weird. But I swear I stand by the misto. It's so handy. Give it a few grinds of salt and pepper. And then you're gonna flip them over, do the same thing on the other side, and bake these in a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes, or until they're kind of like nice and toasty and then cooked through. And I'll meet you back here to make the bruschetta topping. Our sweet potatoes are baked. They look beautiful. You can see they're cooked all the way through, and they've got that nice golden brown sheen. So now we're gonna make our bruschetta topping. And I have a couple of medium-sized diced tomatoes in here. You can also use cherry tomatoes if that's what you have. And then we have fresh basil, just about this much basil. If you just have the tiny little clamshell, that's totally enough basil. I just bought a big one because I'm making other stuff with it. So take your leaves, line them up like this, roll them up. I like getting like strips of basil. So you're just gonna chop it like this, chop the roll like a jelly roll, and you'll get these nice thin strips of basil, which I think look pretty. And in your bruschetta. You can also cut them once down the middle if you want. But I like this. I think it looks pretty in the mix. Go ahead and put that in. If you're not like a super fan of basil, you don't have to put the whole thing in. And then I've also got about 3 tablespoons of minced red onion, just pretty finely diced. And then you can use fresh garlic. I'm using canned because I just don't have any fresh, but about a teaspoon of that. And then a couple of tablespoons of your fig balsamic. And then I like just 1 tablespoon of the olive oil. I've already got some olive oil on the sweet tomatoes or sweet potatoes. So usually okay on that. Give this a nice mix. Spread that garlic all around. I mix this twice, once when I kind of like have the dressing on the tomatoes, and then a second time after I chop the avocado, just because I want to get this all mixed, and I don't want to break up the avocado too much with too much stirring. Cut your avocado in half. Just use 1 avocado for this. This tool is hit or miss. Sometimes it works and sometimes it makes a mess of the avocado. Depends on the softness of the avocado. I almost didn't use it today because I didn't want to have to reshoot this video. But fingers crossed it's working for me. I know some people who use an egg slicer, but I like the chunks of avocado to be pretty sizable for this dish, and I find an egg slicer gets them like a little too small. It's a nice substitution for mozzarella cheese, I gotta say. So then you want your chunks of avocado to be, you know, about that big. So and again, the reason why I do this in 2 steps is because I don't want to mash that avocado up too much. If you've seen my grapefruit avocado salad tutorial or the XPT salad, which is one of my favorite salads, in those, it's okay to kind of like mash up the avocado a little and make the dressing creamy. But in this, you really want the avocado to stand out. You don't want it to be lost in kind of like the salad, because it's replacing the cheese. And I like kind of biting in to a big old chunk of avocado. And then right before you mix this, a little bit more salt. If you're wondering why my salt is peach colored, this is Hawaiian salt that my friend sent me, and I love it. All right, and there is our bruschetta topping. Doesn't that look so beautiful? I love it. And the way I serve this is I just kind of put them all on a plate. Depending on the plate that you have, you can fit more per person if you need it. And then if you have extra of this, I like it in a Buddha bowl. And I'm going to do a Buddha bowl demo in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you get some sauce, some nice strips of basil, A little bit of red onion and tomato in every bite. This really is just such a beautiful salad, especially for summer. And it totally satisfies with that fig balsamic. It totally satisfies my bruschetta craving. And, you know, even though I do miss the bread from time to time, I indulge. But I don't miss not fitting in my pants because I was eating too much bruschetta. So there's that. So enjoy vegan bruschetta. Thanks.